New product, new launches, a completely new journey, and new milestones to achieve as well. Consumers were upgrading to feature phone, and they were always looking for something more and exciting. We launched at that time something which was very revolutionary, the A6000 Plus, which was probably a 4G phone at a very, very affordable price. But let me just talk about a few of them, right? Difficult to see in the daylight and get smudged easily. 35% people, and this is from the research that we did internally with more than 5,000 consumers here. And they said that it's very difficult to see in sunlight. Battery, yeah, 72% of the consumers in general believe that their smartphone batteries don't last.
Sincerely appreciate your efforts in this traffic and also the people who are watching us live. What I want you to do is identify the last time you had a problem with the device, right? Maybe it was, you ran out of battery before the end of the day. Maybe it's, you were trying to take a picture of somebody who wanted a new profile picture and it didn't turn out right. Or maybe you got a new Jio SIM as part of the Jio Prime offer. In the interest of time, let me limit this to the top 8. Right? Let's just make it easier for everyone. So 8 things about the K8 Plus that you guys need to kind of be mindful of. Of course, from the product details, you'll be able to get a lot more, but I'll try and cover 8. Now, why a dual camera setup, right? Because photography is becoming more and more about personal creativity. It's not about just capturing that image, but it's what you can do with that image. And that's where you need a 2-lens system coming in. How this happens is you've got 2 cameras. So you've got a 13 MP camera. This is a primary camera that captures all the details. You've got a depth sensor, which is a 5 megapixel depth sensor that actually captures the depth, or basically the distance from your device. And the further it is, the more depth that comes in. Now these 2 sensors feed in information into 2 ISPs, not 1, but 2. So now you've got this person right in front, you've got the whole thing at the back. Now one camera, the primary 13 megapixel camera, captures all the details, all the colors, and the secondary camera actually scans this along with this ISP at the back. So you get a really detailed depth map in terms of what is supposed to be in focus, which is the person, and what's at the back, and then it combines this image to create this amazing bokeh effect. So this is what we had promised for Lenovo devices, and we are taking that journey forward. Stock Android, why stock Android? I think we all know the benefits, but let me kind of reiterate this. A smartphone's performance is not just what you put as hardware. It's normally the software that slows it down. Now what happens in smartphones is, instead of just going from hardware software directly to the user, most OEMs actually have their own custom UI, right? We are taking that journey forward. You get a clean Android 7.1.1. We do not have our own app store. It's still Google Play. We do not mess around with those settings as well, right? You get clean Android. You obviously get all the security benefits that come with clean Android, along with, of course, the performance aspect to it. Things like you get Google Assistant, you get launch actions. So if you've tried it with the latest 7.1, so when you press a long press icon, it gives you quick actions right from there on the home screen. So but how fast can we go? Right? So that's number 3 about the performance. Now this one is going to be a bit more complicated, so let me kind of talk through one by one. First is, when we were deciding on this particular device, is a new chip. It's a 2.5 gigahertz, actually 2.6 gigahertz when we'll go into it, 16 nanometer, based on TSMC process, which is the most superior process and the leading global fab. What we've got is the overall scores, and this is a benchmark, Antutu benchmark. To kind of make it really simple, the higher the score, the faster the device. We've gone all the way from 43,000 to 70,000. What we did was we ran a couple of tests in our labs. Now this is a gaming test. So this is, I think about 2 or 3 minutes into start. This is Asphalt 8. The device on your left side is running a Snapdragon 625. It's a Redmi Note 4, and on the right you see the K8 Plus. So this is the range. So obviously the blues that you see are about 30.2, which was the ambient temperature, and from there you can see the gap that comes in between the two devices. So faster, cooler. What else would you want? Better efficiency, I guess. Better battery life, right? That's what it needs to kind of do. So think of it as a car, right? So more fuel efficient car is a car that uses less petrol per kilometer. So here we've taken 4 tasks. Again, these are lab results coming in. From a 4-task perspective, it is also a lot more battery efficient. And we will see what happens when you get this kind of efficiency a little later. That's point number 8, remember that. But what you've got is a faster chip that's more thermal efficient and better at battery life. Life hack. How do you get dual SIM and a micro SD card working in a hybrid slot, right? Apparently you have to burn the SIM, stick it to the SD card, and hopefully it all works. Unfortunately, in most cases, and when you start going over the consumer reviews who've used that life hack and said, okay, I'm going to do all these steps, what ends up happening is they basically end up spoiling at the minimum their SD card or the SIM, and they can't use it. In most cases, it basically blocks off this tray, so you can't use it anymore, right? So in this case, we have a dedicated SD card slot. To make this, it actually took a lot of engineering effort, where this is probably the longest SIM tray that we've ever used. But you've got 2 nano SIMs and an SD card on a single tray. And the engineering part actually was that, when you look at it, it's such a long tray that it overlaps slightly with where the fingerprint sensor and the cameras are at the back. But with the party flash, you've got a f2.0 5-element lens in the front as well. You've got professional mode in the front, so you choose your selfies the way it should be. You've got a beautify mode, which can be auto or manual, so you can drag it up all the way to how pretty, which is resistant to your normal fingerprints and smudges. It's not going to be proof. There's no glass in the world that can do that, but it's going to help with the fingerprint smudges, and also the fact that if you have less smudges, it's better from a visibility perspective. So while doing that, we've basically managed to get a really good blend. So you can see from an ergonomics perspective, so this is an all metal back. It's an aluminum back that comes in, a 5000 series. But you can see the subtle curves that come on all sides make it much easier to hold and grip with your hand. Also, something that I can't show on the slides is the weight balance. So when you hold the phone, how good it feels weighted overall. K8 Plus comes with Dolby Atmos. It was there on K6 Power. We had to kind of keep it here. With Dolby Atmos, what you get is this 360-degree virtualized surround sound, right? So perfect when you're watching movies, when you're consuming content. It just is a lot more immersive as an experience. When you're watching a video, sound, we don't really think of sound as too important. Wasn't very clear on the design part of it, but the way the music key has been carved out and that subtle red that goes around the button, again, it's adding to the overall aesthetics, while, of course, ensuring that you get that complete control over your music. But if you're not a music lover, right, you can remap this button to any app of your choice. Right, so you get that control. We're not forcing you to use this only for one function. It's pretty much up to you. Well, you've got dual camera, you've got this amazing performance, but if my battery dies, what am I going to do with all of it? Right? I can't click pictures on a dead phone. Well, what we've got with the K8 Plus is a 2-day battery life. Right? Just from a web surfing on Wi-Fi, you get up to 13 hours of web browsing, right? Which is quite stunning. What about video playback? Again, now these are all test conditions. Your network conditions could vary, but suppose you're watching videos, you get up to 20 hours of video playback on this. Right? It has a big battery. We saw a 2-day battery life, and this one runs a 4000 mAh, but highly optimized from a chipset perspective, from a software perspective. You saw the design, amazing metal build, comes in Venom Black, comes in fine gold. It's a very ergonomically designed device. This will go on sale tomorrow at noon at 12 p.m. on Flipkart exclusively at a price of 10,999. Now this is for the 332. We will have a holiday edition, which will be the 432 that should be coming in for the Diwali period. Along with that, what you get is a whole bunch of launch offers for tomorrow. So you will get a buyback guarantee from Flipkart as well as exchange on your old device. So when you cross the country, it should be coming in a couple of weeks. Now this one has a 5.2-inch HD IPS display, retains the premium metal design that the K series is known for, retains the multimedia prowess that the K8 Plus had. The dual camera gets moved to a single camera here, but the front is still kept along with the party flash, and you get a pretty powerful P20, which is again built on a TSMC 16nm process. So this one is clearly focused on the road warriors. Now this should be coming to retail outlets pretty soon. So with that, if you can have a summary product video, and once the product video ends, Sudhin, if I could invite you up.